What's the number one mistake government employees make when deciding whether to retire or resign? Now, I noticed this way back in 2004 at the start of my professional career, and over 20 years later, it's still the one most costly error that I see. And the saddest part, most members don't even realize they're making this mistake until it's too late. And by then, it's too late because they've already lost money or made decisions that they cannot undo. Hi, I'm Devan Naika, the go-to guy for South African civil servants seeking clarity on whether to retire or resign. In this video, I'm going to be revealing the number one mistake and share with you 5 powerful truths that could help you avoid this costly regret and ensure that you plan your future with security. Now make sure that you watch until the end because these insights could be the difference between a comfortable future or a painful setback. Let's get started with the first one. Well, actually, let's get started with what the actual mistake is, right? And it's this. It's comparing yourself to others. And I see this happening all the time with members, right? Where they would reach out to other members to see, hey, what did you do? Which option did you choose? Did you retire? Did you resign, right? And it's convenient because we want to know. We do this when it comes to restaurants. We check to see if we have a colleague who visited a particular restaurant and they would recommend, right? They would recommend. And why I'm saying is one of the mistakes is the first truth that I want to share with you is you want to plan for you. Keep in mind that your situation is unique. Everything about you is unique. You might have someone who's working in the same department as you. They might be in the same department. They might have the same years of service as you see. However, there might be some things that are different. So it could be somebody who is not in the same department as you. Could be somebody who doesn't have the same years of service. Maybe it's somebody who doesn't have the same salary as you. You see, all these factors could change. And even if we look beyond that, we want to have a look at, hey, what are the family dynamics? See? Do you have, maybe you may have more kids or less kids. Maybe you have no kids, or maybe they may have no kids, right? So you want to analyze that. You also want to have a look at what the legacy intentions are. So maybe for you, it's important to leave these funds for your family, whereas for somebody else, it might not be something that's important. So you want to keep in mind that, yes, whilst you want to make sure that you're not making a mistake, and this is why we feel that need to compare, right? You don't want to make the mistake. You also are ensuring that you are planning for you. So you can get some information, and I'll guide you with the next secrets as we go along. What are the key elements for you to take out from this? But keep in mind that you are unique. And you want to make sure that whichever route you're choosing, whether you're retiring or resigning, whatever is being done for you is customized and best suited for you and your needs. What is the second thing that you want to keep in mind is how much have they researched? So this should be researched, right? How much have they researched? Now, why have I put this one in here is I noticed that very often members would reach out to me, although we have resources like the Retire Bust Resign Masterclass, we have access to the YouTube channel, but I find that often members who reach out to me, they haven't really spent the time to watch a video. They haven't spent time to go through the masterclass or even go through some of the resources that we have. Although the resources are free of charge, but it's a question of time, right? And from a convenience perspective, very often members want to shorten the process. It's easier for you to connect with me, book a consultation with me, and for me to do it one-on-one with you, right? Than for you to try and figure this out on your own. Now, there are also instances where members may want to do this information, but they want to do the research on their own. So rather than looking for a trusted specialist, they want to go through the research on their own. The research might be very limited, meaning they might be leaning on a particular option because their parents went that route, or they're leaning on a particular option because one of their colleagues had went that route, or they had a bad experience with with investing, so they want to go a certain route, you see, or maybe they have fear of investing within the fund, so they want to go a certain route. So whatever it is, you want to keep in mind that everyone has their own bias. And you don't want that opinion or that view to be passed on to you. You want to be able to look at this objectively. So have a look, as the second point is, how much have they actually researched? So how much do they know about the retirement side? How much do they know about the resignation side? From a tax perspective, how much do they know from an investment perspective? How much research have they done in their chosen path, right? So it's perfectly okay to check to see their opinions, but you want to make sure that you're getting it from somebody who's actually researched this extensively. Now, the next thing is quality of advice. So, of course, yes, you may reach a stage where you understand this information is a bit more intricate and you need assistance from perhaps a financial advisor or a financial planner. Pardon that spelling there. By the way, my daughter says that her handwriting is better than mine. So comment below if you think it's better, right? Just imagine that her handwriting is not as good as mine, and you can comment below and say it's mine, and I'll show her the comments when she watches it. So the quality of the advice here. Now you might find that the individual, your colleagues, reaching out to a financial advisor, financial planner, and different advisors plan differently. You also have somebody like myself who is a specialist, right? Who is, oops, today is really a fun day. Yeah, if she sees it, she's gonna laugh at all the mistakes that I'm making. So someone who is a specialist, so I'm focusing specifically on government employees wanting to make the decision of retiring and resigning, and the solutions that I have for resignation are very extensively researched, right? So you want to make sure one is the quality of advice, the source of the advice, what information is being passed on to them, because that would determine how good the experience is, right? So for example, let's assume that there are 10 secrets when it comes to the resignation planning, and if a member only has access to 2 of those secrets, it would obviously change their view, you agree? If they don't know how to plan tax properly, if they haven't been given proper tax guidance, it changes the view. And this is why I say you want to have a look at what's the quality of the advice that they have received, right? Is this something that's objective? Is it empowering them? Now, keep in mind, as I've shared in previous videos, the advice when it's being provided should be objective. It shouldn't push one in a certain direction. However, as you start receiving the advice, you will naturally be able to see which route is better for you, retiring or resigning, right? Because that's how the advice should be. It's taking what's important for you and then putting it through the advice structure so that you can see a bit more clearly which route is better. But you're still ultimately taking the decision, right? You're not losing control of it. That was the third one. And then not only is getting the advice important, but how much of it is getting implemented. And I've seen this from a lot of members because I'm working inside of the sector for years now. There's some members who would reach out, I would do some tax planning for them, and I'll show them exactly how to go about it, even access to the YouTube videos. And we still have some members, although YouTube videos are free, I have access to the masterclass, they would spend hundreds of thousands in tax, right? In mistakes that could easily have been avoided, right? If they just spent the time to get proper advice, or they just implemented some of the structures that you're seeing here. If you've not already watched the testimonials on the YouTube channel, please go ahead to do that. You'll see a number of members who are reporting massive savings from a tax perspective alone, right? Leaving out the investing and all the other elements that we put in place for them. So you want to keep in mind from that perspective, it's not just getting access to the information, but how much is actually implemented. Because it is possible when you get the right advice that you can save hundreds of thousands in tax. And that too can alter the decision, you agree? In terms of retiring and resigning. Now, next up is how much do they have to lose? Now, this is a secret weapon. And why I say it is a secret weapon is you want to have a look at how badly does somebody want this, right? How badly does somebody want it? Now, maybe for you, you could be a parent. Maybe you still want to ensure, although your kids might be below age, or your kids might be above 18, right? They might be financially independent, but you still want to ensure that your legacy continues for them. See, you still maybe want to ensure that you want to save on tax. Your financial situation might be very different, see, whereas somebody else, it might be okay for them to pay some tax. It might be okay, the thinking might be very different. They don't really need to have a legacy. Might not be important for them, you see, to have. So in that case, obviously because this is not a factor for them, they're not really going to pay attention to the tax planning, or they're not really going to pay attention to legacy. Maybe they have enough money saved, so it's okay for them if they have to pay some tax. Whereas for you, you might want this more badly, right? Meaning because you want to succeed more than somebody else, you might want to spend time by understanding the legacy planning. You want to spend more time understanding what's happening from a tax perspective. You want to spend a bit more time understanding medical aid, see, comparing your research. This is not saying that you are going to commit into the decision, right, of retiring and resigning. What this is just empowering yourself with knowledge, right? You might want to spend more time understanding cap leave. And if you watch some of my videos that I've shared previously, cap leave is a taxable benefit. So you might want to understand that. You might even go to this extent where you're trying to understand if it's taxable, how much is going to be taxed and how much are you getting back. You might want to spend some time analyzing your true 1/3. Getting to grips with understanding what is the true 1/3 and why am I saying in videos that when your true 1/3 is higher than the gratuity, you see? So again, depending how badly you want this, how serious you are about your success, it will determine the level of input that you put in. So keep in mind, it's very natural for us as humans. I do it myself as well, right? We want to find an easy way, right? If like I used the example earlier, when it comes to restaurants, we want to check with the colleague, hey, where did you go to, all of that. So it is very natural to want to compare. Just the information that I'm sharing in this video is keep in mind that your situation is different to everyone else. And whilst you are comparing, we all may have our individual biases, which your colleagues may also have. So gather the information, it's part of your research, and then you work on this objectively, right? Leaving out the feelings and all of that aside, work on it objectively so that you can see which decision works best for you. I hope the video has been helpful for you. As always, I need that thumbs up sign. So before you leave this video, give me the thumbs up sign so I know it has been helpful. And please ensure that you're subscribing. By subscribing, YouTube is able to identify other government employees, other members, and ensure that this video starts getting in front of them, right? I will see you in the next video.